just till like 6 because I've got a box.
Okay.
Hey guys, Aaron with Raven Dark. I'm gonna be working on this big guy over here.
I'm also here.
My shop assistant Sam is in. So it's going to be this guy. He's got these huge horns that I'll have Sam hold up later on. So yeah, just going to work for a bit, and thought I'd show some of the bigger projects that I work on. A lot of my stuff is like small scale collectible, but I do a ton of big stuff too. So yeah, so just figured I'd show some of my large scale stuff. And once Sam is done demolding a bookworm, I'll have him read comments and questions once more people start joining us.
Did it.
So. Okay. Sam's been working for me, how long now?
A year? What was it, like June last year?
I think it was, yeah. So he does all of my, all of my casting and stuff for me, and he does a lot of dremeling of the pieces to get them looking, to get all the pieces looking good, so that I can paint them and do the patching and stuff. So he's kind of going through the whole process, learning how to do everything pretty much. So he's going to be able to work at an effect shop in Hollywood by the time we're done with everything.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So what are you? I guess what are all the animals and creatures in this sculpt?
Well, the biggest influence on this is I saw this picture of this spider, and I think there's some like caterpillars and stuff that do this too. But there was this crazy spider that had like a house made of like bark and random stuff, just like perched on its back. And I just thought that was an awesome. Awesome idea for a piece. And then I kind of just want to have a pet, just a big pet spider, you know. And then so I like the idea of like I did that one. Well, the shaman mask that you've worn that.
Yeah.
Pose for pictures. Pose for pictures in that one.
I'm a model.
That's right. And so anyway, yeah, just a buffalo spider for the big, huge horns, which we can show in a bit.
Yes.
And that one crazy spider with all the. It like made a house out of like bark and twigs and stuff. It's really crazy. If I find a picture of that, I'll probably post that for next time. But
that would be rad. That's
yeah,
like
it was really cool looking though.
It's like a snail in spider form.
Yeah, and I love snails. So I just remember like some of the first pieces I ever did were I was at work and made these little. So you take, the staples when they're set to go on the machine, and they're in just a row, like a rack of them all glued together.
Oh yeah.
Like for a stapler.
Yeah.
They're a chunk of those was left over and wasn't feeding right, so I took it and was sitting there and I broke it up and I left it joined in the middle and then broke up the outside and made like a spider.
Ooh.
And it was just sitting there it was just sitting on my desk, and it freaked people out because I bent it a little bit, to make it look like more real.
Mm-hmm.
And it weirded people out. So I was like, oh. And then I did a snail off of I had some rebar tie wire, and I have no idea why, but I had some rebar tie wire, and I bent that into loops back and forth. So I made a strand, and then I curled that into the snail shell spiral, and then had the body coming out. So it was just this wire sculpture. So I've done they've been I just love snails, and spider type stuff since I was a kid. And that was when I was like, that's when I was really, really young. I was like 17 or 18, I think.
Oh, just making little.
Doing that stuff. So like, I never thought anything about it. I was just randomly making stuff at work, which is not the best use of time, but it was
Not like
fun.
you need to do work when you're at work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's rad.
So I've always kind of liked that kind of stuff. And it goes with the big forest theme that I've been kind of pursuing for the past year, basically, with everything. So this guy, do you want to grab those horns real quick so we can just get that early on in the streams. People can kind of see what I'm talking about with that. So anyway, we'll face the camera, and these horns there are sockets on the back of this thing that they go into. And the idea is they're going to be spread way out like this, like a buffalo spider.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, if you can hold it like right there.
Yeah.
So let me see on the feed. I'll get out of the way. So yeah, so it's this big, just crazy spider, and I've got a long, tall, like taxidermy stump that I'm gonna put this guy on. So it's gonna be this really long, tall thing, and he's gonna be perched like all of these. You know, these are all going to be movable, basically, so I can lock the pose that I want. Once this is all cast, these are already done. So these are resin legs that I've already done. It's hard to see with the white, but ton of detail in there. I was looking at a lot of Alan Williams' work when I was sculpting this for a different project, and figured actually the legs and the horns are from another project that hasn't been released yet. It's and that piece is this big headdress that I did for a client of mine. I think you remember seeing some of that, but that's still under non-disclosure as far as showing it to anybody, so I can't really show it. But I'm using elements of that because it's that's not the important thing with that piece is that. Anyways, yeah, you can hear the sounds. Okay, just hold them for the rest of the hour we're gonna be on.
Okay, yeah, that's
Fine.
I love holding stuff.
Oh man. So yeah, you can kind of see full turnaround, and these are going to be the sockets that those big horns mount into. And I'll put some kind of, when I'm done with this, I'll put some kind of like mounting system in there, so it'll just socket right in and lock in place. So, but in the meantime, I just want to get everything blocked in first. You can see this different colored clay here. This is monster clay that I poured into I took some molds of actual tree bark. And so I've got these rubber molds of tree bark that I've used for a couple projects. And that's gonna be some of the texture, but I want it to be like, if you've seen like an old tree where there's the bark is kind of exposed, you know, you see that on like lightning strike or fire damaged trees. So that was kind of the idea. There's one in my front yard that looks really cool. Actually, on the way out, it's the one right as you turn in. It's got the big cut. It's got the big cut in it.
Yeah.
I think they got hit by it had to be a lightning strike or something like that.
I thought I may be thinking of something else.
You might be thinking of that cedar, the big cedar that's out there
on the corner.
No. I'm talking about the big. It's that. I think it's mulberry. I think it's mulberry actually, right out there. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the one that I think there was a car that was like on fire under it.
No. Well, that one too. Yeah, that's a good example too, actually. But that, yeah, that was that piece. So I like that. I really like that thing where it's going to be like bark and then the exposed under stuff right there.
Exposed underbelly. Mm-hmm. So if you could be one insect, what would you choose?
Probably a praying mantis. I haven't thought about that, but yeah, those things are freaking awesome. It's like that little dude that I'm sculpting over there. I'll eventually I'll probably do a live stream where I work on that guy.
Dude who's cheering away.
Well, that's from a picture, and the thing just has its hands out like in this just crazy pose. Like it looks like it's like dancing or something. It's just like this really. I imagine like a matador, like really just kind of a just crazy like flamboyant type character.
Ah, I like it.
So that was the idea behind that guy. Now I'm taking my texture pad and smushing it into the clay. Can you hand me that spray bottle right behind you, Sam? On the shelf. It's right behind you. No, there you go.
Oh god, I don't twist that way.
So just get some texture in. This is all going to get refined, but I just kind of, I want to trick my eyes and make sure that this all kind of unifies, so I'm I'm seeing the forms the way that I want to see them. A lot of times, I mean, texture is technically one of the last steps you should do, but
Just kind of as you go, see what you're.
sometimes I need to just see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's always good to step back like a quarter away, halfway through.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Well, really, if you're doing a lot of this stuff, you should be taking a break and getting some distance from the piece. Take pictures of it. Some people looking like they'll use mirrors, just to give themselves kind of a different perspective on everything. And a lot of times you'll think a piece looks great, and then all of a sudden you like leave it sit for a day or two, and you come back and you're like, that's awful. Like, what was I thinking?
My sketchbook.
So that happens all the time. What were you saying?
My sketchbook.
Nice.
Oh, this one did come out.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, Sam's helping me prep on orders, and we might be doing the Michigan Renaissance Festival this year, so it's still up in the air on whether it's going to happen or not. So we'll have to see about that.
Keeping fingers crossed for that giant turkey leg.
Yeah, because you missed last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be good. You helped out at Comic-Con though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you did that one.
Yeah, that was interesting, but rad.
Pass all the D&D players off on you. I told somebody about that this past week. That came up somehow. It was like booth barnacles or something.
Booth bar. Oh.
The people that just latch onto your booth and just stay for forever, or they'll come back like 20 times. Some of them are great, like, and they're always like fun, but it's like you get the D&D people.
Let me tell you about my character's preferences on how they like their food cooked.
Yeah, exactly. So I like it to a degree, but
I enjoy talking about that with my characters, but yeah, when someone else hearing it's a different story.
Well, and if you know the person, it's different too. Like I know you, so it's like hearing about some of the characters that you have is like, oh, that's Sam being a gnome or a werewolf or some shit.
Yeah.
Actually, Erica's got the best descriptions because she's got that nerdy like werewolf character.
Yeah, that
Dirk Daggers.
Every
I don't know if you've heard about that one, but
yeah, every time I hear about that character, I want to play a game with them so bad.
She's got some fun characters. Okay, so this is looking a bit better. I didn't like, this was like too flat, and I'm going for like a really gnarly, like old tree stump type texture with this guy. And then, you know, under that, some of these are kind of, I got some rake marks and tool marks on this that I got to smooth out, and I really didn't know what texture I wanted for this, but I found, and this is, you'll hear me say this a lot if you watch stuff, and Sam's heard this a bazillion times. It's like, I found this crazy bug or crazy insect, or which I guess is the same thing. But I found this like crazy bug, and it's got these really neat forms to it. Sometimes this stuff works. It's like a lot of what I do is just kind of play around until something looks right. I might have to take these legs off, but so yeah, you can kind of see You can kind of see where the legs, legs are here. This is all really plain. I haven't really worked through this much at all yet. This I kind of wanted to be. This I kind of wanted to be more smooth. So this is going to be like, this is going to be the smooth part of like the tree textures, and then let's see here. Then I gotta pick what I want to do with this, because I don't want to leave it plain. But I also want to have an idea for areas of rest, so that it's not just like super busy. And that's the problem I have with a lot of modern creature design, is like there's just too much. There's too much going on, and there's just a bazillion details, but none of it really flows, or it's just too busy.
They try to make it too cool.
Yeah, and I mean I totally get it, because it's like a lot of people love they love the texture or the detailing phase, so it's like they just go nuts with that, But
Yeah, but then like you look at nature, and I mean, look at a hippo. It's just smooth. I mean, there's
Yeah.
other stuff there, but
yeah, and then it's like the forms by themselves are what you really are looking at,
yeah, you can have the best detail work, but if the
If the
anatomy
form-
isn't right,
Yeah, if the forms are not right, it's just kind of a boring mess. Or it's just you just can't read all the information, and your brain overloads, and then it's not fun to look at. So you gotta have areas of rest. I've also got to sculpt some big. So these are the big mandibles that are there, and I'm gonna have these outer ones that are bigger, and I'll do those in monster clay. And do molds of those. So that's going to be a separate piece, because it's I want them kind of sticking out a little bit. So anyway,
mandibles.
yes, it's also just a fun word to say.
It is. I feel like that word's underappreciated.
There's a few like that.
Nexus is a great word. I don't know if I'd ever use it in an actual sentence.
Now you have to. You got to come up with a way to fit that into conversation.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sculpting tools for roughing stuff in. I get these from Philippe, and I can't pronounce his last name. It's FARAUT.com. So Philippe, and that's Farou or Farout. I don't know how to pronounce the French stuff, but it's really good for these initial phases to get the angles and planes of a piece set, instead of it just being like all rounded. A lot of pieces that I see, they're 2D and 3D. There's no real structure to the forms. It feels like, because I don't know if that makes sense, but like there's no like the angles of a face and everything. Like if you set those angles right, even if it's totally just the angles, it reads correctly as a face. Where you see some people, it's just kind of blotchy, and there's no bones under it, So using this tool, especially in these early phases, it helps you set these planes and make stuff more angular. And then once you get those angles set, you can soften stuff down. And for me, it helps. It makes it feel like there's like bones and structure underneath.
Yeah, 'cause with drawing, I've done too many where I feel like it should be good as I'm drawing it, and then I step back, and it's like, oh, that is a blob with eyes and a mouth.
Yeah. And we all go through that phase, and sometimes it just happens, and it's like, shit, can't figure out why it didn't work. And that's usually what it is for me, is I'm not setting the angles of the face right. Mm-hmm. This is my other favorite tool for the kind of the initial block-in phase, is I can't remember what these are called. They're like lemon zesters or peelers or something. It's all clogged, but
oh, is it the curved at the end with the holes? Yeah,
but it's like this weird scraper thing, and you can really get in and refine shape. It's kind of like a big rake. I don't know if you can see. Well, I'll put some marks right there, but you can see it leaves these like little tooth mark type things, and then you can smooth those out. But I love this thing for the block-in phase, because it works. You can move a ton of clay around and kind of carve with it really quick.
Wait, what does it look like?
It's this.
Or the effect.
Oh, it's here. I'll show you on the back. All right. So I'll scrape it right there. So it's, yeah, it just say, so you can like, but you can like put an edge in and carve down.
It's just like
And it
grooves.
just yeah, it just creates these like, creates these kind of like, yeah, I did it right there. You can see the grooves, and then you just go, you can take with your finger, or it's another rake is usually the best way to do that, but.
It makes clay spaghetti.
Yeah, and it does. It makes these little strips that come out. So yeah, but it's really, really good for knocking shapes down, and it's another one, like, it's really good for setting angles and putting in some curves and stuff too. So it's a really versatile tool. It's one of my go-to tools that I use at the start of pretty much every bigger sculpt. I even use it in some smaller ones too, actually.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, this dude fits with all my nature, dark forest fantasy, tree critters is the other thing I love about this guy. And I just want a big pet spider. I mean, that's the real reason that I do any of this stuff, is just because I want it for myself. And thankfully there are enough collectors out there that have my same kind of weird aesthetic that it's worked out.
Yeah, that's just have that little guy like behind a sort of see-through door, so when people step in or walk
There
through,
he is.
got a little friend.
Well, it's like that. You remember when we were working and the UPS dude just like walked in?
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's seen my stuff, like, and the mail lady has also been like, she's like, I'll peek in sometimes just to see what you have going on. So.
Was that when he was looking at, what was it, Garage or Orc Man?
No, that happened in there too, but no, he walked in through the main door there. It was like to drop boxes off, like these huge heavy boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing that he was doing was just trying to like, he just wanted to see what was going on.
Right.
So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that'd be definitely spice things up on the
I think we had a vampire baby laying out.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what is going on in here?
Those are terrifying.
Yeah. It's still Laura's, like, she still kind of cringes whenever she does does the trimming on those things.
Yeah, and then when you guys leave them in the bathtub, wash them, that's great.
Oh, man.
It's like walk in to use the bathroom and
It's like,
shower curtains half closed, but there's
just
kind of a little baby
crazy.
in
What he's talking about is once Laura does the trimming on those, my wife Laura, when she does the trimming on those, you have to you got to trim all the seam line from the mold. You got to trim that off, and then it's got the release agent from the mold and just all the gunk that silicone picks up, because it's really sticky. So after she does that, she takes and she washes it off in the bathtub, and then somebody will come into the bathroom, and there's just this horrible vampire baby laying in the bath staring up at you. So yeah, it's fun.
Ooh, Halloween should hide a couple of those around.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. Just like leave baby carriages with those, like video camera set up. See people's horrible reactions to them.
Walk around downtown with it.
We were gonna take that to the comic shop, but I think I ran out of time.
It's never too late.
That's true. The next one I do for a show, we need to do that. You can film it. You gotta start doing more film projects too.
Agreed. Oh no, don't leap there. Come on.
You have anybody tuned in, or?
We got 2 viewers. One of which is me, but hello, stranger. Or friend. Friend is a better way to say that, I imagine.
Yeah, Monday we had quite a few people on. I think this time of day is a little nuts, but this will be good because we can still do stuff for the YouTube channel. So
yeah,
because somebody when I posted that prosthetic appliance thing that I did for next door neighbor, that's one of the things people were like, please show process videos. It's like it's coming.
I guess. But yeah. Plus, just getting used to the camera is good.
Mm-hmm. Getting all that sorted out.
Oh, hello. Bed. Cool. I'm a friend of the bearded dude. Oh, hello. Welcome. I don't know who you are in terms of friends, but thanks. All right.
I don't know, can you see when I'm working on this? Can you see this thing's face pretty well, or?
Yeah, it's like a more side view, but still kind of 3/4 view.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure everybody can get a good look at his pretty face.
Oh, Jake, what's up? But yeah, like, I don't know if there was one giant sculpt you could do, what would you choose?
That big freaking troll suit that I'm gonna do later
Ooh.
this year. And that's kind of that's the funny those like you've asked me like, oh, like if you could do whatever you wanted to do, like what would you be doing? I'm like, this. It's like,
Yeah.
so that's been the nice thing with that's one of the things I thanked everybody about on that one post was like being able to do that prosthetic leg for my neighbor for free, you know. I couldn't do that if I couldn't do that if I wasn't selling so much, you know what I mean? So it's like everybody that's buying all these little sculptures is like making it possible for all these other projects to happen. So it's like there's really not much at this point, you know, that I'm not really limited. So it's like that dream, like to do a dream sculpt is like I can just do it, you know. So
yeah,
so it's really it's awesome that I'm finally in that position where I just kind of do whatever I want with these projects, and it's like it's totally thanks to all the customers. One, you and actually you too, because of the I just couldn't do this with the time. Like all I was doing was filling orders and cat, because you know how much work it is. Just an immense amount of work goes into making this stuff. So it's like, but yeah, to answer the question in a shorter the shorter version is that big troll suit is really what I want to make.
So what's the is there something you're basing it on, or?
No, just kind of out of my head, and it's another one it's gonna be. I want this thing to like, and I want to actually do tests with this, where if this thing is laying down in like a forest clearing, you wouldn't be able to see it. Like it would just blend in. Like so it's gonna have like tree growth. Well, it's gonna be this kind of stuff. This is practice for that. So like all this tree growth and that kind of stuff is kind of practice for that idea. So that when it comes time to do this huge thing, and it's like when the thing opens its eyes, or when it turns to face you, it's obviously this creature, and it's going to look like it's like 500 or 600 pounds. Is kind of the idea. So I want it to be a really big, just impressive piece. It's going to have like wearable. It's going to be a wearable suit. So it's like for the, for when we eventually launch that company for events and stuff.
Right.
It'll be something we can do for that.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't weigh 500 or 600 pounds.
Yeah.
That would be.
Well, that's what that new foam and stuff, man. I've been impressed with. So we can do thin skins of that, and lay it over the PVC tubing, like that spike suit that you're working on, that you're building, the one that you were doing all the spikes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like that's another one that's kind of a test for this idea, because instead of it being spikes, it's going to be big like tree branches and stuff. So
I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool piece.
Also, Rick 0777 used to work with you in Washington.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Welcome.
It's good to hear from you. You still at Wells Fargo?
We'll give it a minute to catch up.
I know.
Also, you want me casting anything else? Probably should have asked this before.
Nah. You know what? Actually, I do need one Snailian done in white. That's that orange mold there. Somebody ordered one of those, and I've only got black ones coming from Mountain View, so.
Okay. Ooh, it's been a while since I've done this.
It's just a brush in.
Okay.
Alright, so it's pretty face here. This thing's starting to dry out just a bit, so we're gonna mist him down. That's one thing I love about wet clay is that it goes through phases where you can, when it cleans up and it's a little harder, you can get detail in really easily. And then when you're first sculpting with it, it's really soft, so you can just bang out the forms really quick. So yeah, it's probably my favorite clay actually. For big stuff at least.
Yeah, the epoxy.
Oh, dude, I've been using that lighter cos clay stuff is wonderful. Like
for small stuff?
It's awesome. Did I give you some of that gray?
Yeah, but
if
I think
did, just throw it away. It's a train wreck.
Yeah, no, that got
Lost
disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Snailian and slow.
Yeah, because you got to get a good brush in. You got to make sure you got to pour it in up to the neck and then tip it to make sure that you get the head, because the bubble traps under the chin.
Oh yeah.
If you can visualize that.
Here.
Because that's up, that mold is obvious. It's upside down. So.
Yeah. And then how much?
Those are 16, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
I think I can handle that.
Let's get a little more detail on the face here.
This guy.
Depending on how you do the eyes can make it more monstery or more relatable. So this is and this guy's face is based on an ogre-faced spider, which is just a gorgeous monster in real life.
Yeah, I like the image I'm getting.
The name says it all. Well, it's this guy. Let's see.
Lord of the Rings.
It's one of those.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of basing the face of this thing on a little bit. I mean, it's got obviously the eye configuration's a bit different, but these I love these big long mandibles this thing has. And this is folded. So the one he's gonna have, so he's got these middle ones here, which are there, and then he's gonna have these things here. These are sockets actually. So these are hollowed out, and he's gonna have these bigger, longer mandibles. Not quite as big as these, but similar shape and idea. So that's some of the reference for this guy.
How many different references do you have for him? Also, sorry, 16 you said?
Yeah, I think it takes a full 16. Oh man, I try to collect a ton of reference in the beginning, and there were a lot of tree pictures that I took, and then I sat out. Actually, I took him outside and blocked him out in front of that tree.
Okay.
So I pulled a lot of the forms directly from that tree. So I mean that's when you can do that, sculpt from light, it's way easier. So there was that, and then the other. I've got a couple books of spiders and stuff here, and I got some other reference that I'm using for some of the textures. There's this crazy tree hopper thing that I'm using for that I might use for some of the texture work.
Okay.
So there's probably on any given piece there's usually I don't know maybe at least some of them are 8 or 10, and others are I have one thing and I just kind of riff on that idea basically.
Okay.
So it depends.
So you kind of collect reference at the beginning and try to stick with just that?
Yeah. Or the other way that I do it is kind of like I'm doing with this guy, is I knew that I wanted this to be a tree spider, and that was it. Like that was the whole idea, was tree spider, you know.
Mhm.
So then a lot of times you've got to find. You basically run into a problem with, like, how am I going to get these forms to look right together?
Right.
You know, so it's so that I call that a problem. You know, that's a problem that you got to solve. And a lot of times I'll look through a lot of nature books at that point to figure out how it's solved in real life. You know, and sometimes it can take me a while, and some pieces will stall out for 3-4 months. You know, because I don't have the right solution to that problem. And until I do, I just can't visualize how to move past it, you know. That's one reason I don't like taking commissions, is because a lot of times my best pieces I had to solve, you know, a few problems, and it's like if I just push through, like I can push through and get it done if I need to. But if I do that, sometimes it feels like I'm just rushing it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not coming up with the best. Your first idea a lot of times is not your best idea. So a lot of times I feel like if I just rush it, it's not, you know, not as good as I could do.
Yeah, it's like you're always saying to, what is it? Don't be afraid to scrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
You've seen me knock down I don't know how many pieces because I just didn't like how it was going. And like this thing, I could have easily left it where it was when we started, and just worked on the secondary forms, you know, and started the detailing phase. But I'm like, I want this thing. Like, if I'm going to spend the money to make this thing and mold it, it needs to be really good.
Oh yeah.
Because this sucker's gonna cost a fortune to mold.
Yeah, that's gonna be I didn't even think of that.
And that's always in the back of my head, is like, okay, do the best thing possible. Like, don't rush it. Do the best thing possible, because you're gonna have to shell out so much money to mold this thing. And that's why it's gonna be fun to play around with some of the cosplay and that kind of stuff, because I can make one of the kinds, and I don't have to worry about that as much. You know, I don't have to worry about making a big mold.
Right. Plus, you could do, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Add little bits.
Just play a bit, you know. So.
Crazy big sculpture. Still have an early original from you.
Oh, nice.
For Rick.
Yeah.
Favorite.
You got that. Sure. You got that Sean Tan critter, don't you? I think that's what you got. That little weird, like, mouse shark looking thing. I think that's what he's got. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds rad.
Yeah, I haven't shown you that book.
No?
You will bawl your freaking eyes out.
All right.
It's called The Arrival. And it summarizes the weirdness of being in a strange country better than anything. Like, we would not have anybody picking on immigrants and stuff if people would read that book. Like, it's incredible.
So what's it about?
It is, this guy is in a war-torn type of thing, but it's all fantasy. So it's like this crazy, like these giant cat monster things have just like invaded and are taking over his home.
Oh dear.
And he goes to this, you know, like he has to move, you know, and he's got to find a new place for his family and stuff. And
sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So it's all about him, like, going to this new place, not speaking the language. There's no written stuff in there, but it's like gibberish language, to represent. It's like symbols and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So these people are all doing these symbols and everything, but so there are no words, like real, you know, like English words in this at all. So the story's told just in pictures, basically. Huh. But just freaking the most just gorgeous paintings and stuff you've ever seen. But anyway, the creature that I'm pretty sure that is the one he's got. is from that book.
I'm
it's
like
this weird like little shark mouse critter. It's I'll have to show you pictures of it. But
is it a comic?
it's a it's an illustrated book. But
Oh.
it's kind of like a graphic novel type thing, you know.
Just like every 2 or 3 pages is a picture.
No, every page. It's only there are no words, so it's all just straight pictures. But it is one of the most beautiful, like just beautiful stories, man, I've ever seen. Like it's just crazy. It's just and it's just the stuff's gorgeous. The guy's won all kinds of awards. And the thing that pisses me off is I wanted to sculpt all of his like crazy cartoony monsters.
Mm-hmm.
He can sculpt, so he has no need. There's no need for my services.
Multi-talented people are the worst. So jealous.
Yeah, same. But yeah, so anyway, that was. I'm pretty sure that's what he's got.
Rick said he has 2, and yeah, and
he's got that sleeping, the sleeping like muscle monster thing too. I think.
What?
Yeah, this is all like old shit that I'm all ashamed of and will never show you.
Damn it! I want to see it. That makes me want to see it more. The only old stuff
like
I've seen.
Like my really super early stuff, man.
Yeah, the only old stuff is the stuff you have around the house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that stuff that I gave to Laura.
Yeah, and then Jake asked, "What are you guys making?"
Giant spider monster.
Also a pet.
It's mainly I just want to pet one of these things, so that's what we're doing. It's working on that, and then Sam is working on getting a bunch of castings and whatnot done and monitoring the stream because I can't multitask to save my life. So
yeah,
that's what he's got going on.
Speaking of which, what should I cast up next?
You know what? I think we're good. Actually,
okay.
You know what? I don't have any snowmen, and it's getting into that season, so you could do a brush into that snowman sculpt. And I can't remember if it's 8 or 10 ounces, but.
Oh, should I show to the camera the stuff that I've molded?
Yeah, you could. That'd be good.
Cast up.
Might as well. Watching just sculpting is like the most boring thing on earth. So.
I know. God, it's awful.
It's terrible. Even though I do it all the time, but. Like, yeah, for a lot of people, I think it's kind of dull.
They're a little rough still, but you got this guy, little
bookworm, and he's got the big antennae, tentacle things that pop out the top of his head. So that sticks on there. There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Then he's got a bunch of like big teeth and then spikes all along like his little feet.
Plus, there's a bunch of hairs that come out the back.
Yeah. It's got a whole row of spikes. It's a super labor-intensive piece.
They're fun though.
Dude, look at this. This is coming out good, man. This is the way I'm gonna do this. Look at this right here. This is gorgeous. You see that? That looks like tree. God. That's awesome, man. This is the first time I'm doing this technique, so I'm not like praising myself. I'm just glad that it works. It just looks neat.
Yeah, you and your skills, whatever, man.
It's just experimenting, man. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're so talented." I'm like, forget talent.
Yeah, that is.
Talent is for the weak. I just work my ass off.
Talent gets you to step it gets you like 5% of the way.
Yeah. Well, actually, a lot of times it's a really big drawback to be talented.
Yeah,
because then it's like easy, and then as soon as you hit any kind of like problems, you're just like, oh.
Like the kids who are really smart in elementary school, and then they get to high school, and they've always been told they're smart.
I went to a gifted school, and granted it was in Alabama, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah. But now
some of the kids, Alabama.
Some of the kids, I can make fun of it because I live.
Yeah.
Some of the kids had been in the gifted program since like kindergarten, and were no longer gifted. But we're still in there, and it was just hell for them, man. Like it was brutal. So they were super talented at the beginning.
Oh dear.
And it did not go well for them.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because it was just like as soon as they hit the real struggles and stuff later and had to study, they just weren't used to studying, you know.
I know I just asked how much was this, and also computer
It's like
battery.
8 or 10.
Okay, I'll do 10.
Battery. You can grab the plug from over there. No.
This one?
Yep. It should be plugged in down below. I forgot. So thanks. I forgot to move that before the stream started because I'm a professional.
It's okay. Nothing bad has ever happened from low battery.
Yeah. Actually, what time is it?
Time to get a sundial. 5:17.
All right, we're good.
There.
All right, get some clay on here.
Oh, damn it. Is there a plug on that side?
Just plug it right under there. Oh no, you mean this plug here? Let me have that.
Yeah.
We've got yeah, there's an extension cord right over there. So go over here.
Some not so difficult technical difficulties.
Yeah. You got power?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Alright.
Oh, 6 viewers. Hello, folks. Alright. Really just the face.
So we just had a few people join?
Yeah.
Can you hold up, before you do that, can you hold up the spikes on the back?
Yeah.
So we can get the full effect. I'll turn him to face he's facing the camera now better. So yeah, he's kind of frowning down here a little bit with his eyes. We don't want that. So yeah, this is based on a buffalo spider. So this dude's gonna have these big honking horns.
Indeed.
That stick up. They're light though. They're only like a pound or two a piece. It's maybe 2 pounds. I'm trying to remember how many ounces of material went into it. It's not much though. Yeah. So yeah, they're super light. Those are gonna get socketed in the back and locked in, so you can break it down to be shipped. That was another issue, was learning how to design pieces to be shipped. Because a lot of my initial things, like that big kaiju, it was in the garage for forever till my buddy John. John picked it up for his collection.
Oh yeah.
He had to bring a truck out and stuff. There's just no way to ship it, like with a big flatbed trailer.
Just get a big box. It's fine.
Yeah.
Take it to UPS.
So now I build everything modular and like everything's able to be broken down into pieces. This one actually will be really simple to do because the body and these legs all detach. So he'll be able to fit in like a 20-inch box, and then won't be too bad at all.
So the body is just gonna stay solid and.
Yeah. We'll do the body as one piece, and then the mandibles, and then the legs will all be separate, so that they can be posed. Because I'm gonna do this on different like things. You know what I mean? Because when I get the Renaissance Fair shop, what I want to do is have one of these guys like climbing down the wall or something, you know, or like up in the corner or something.
Could do alternate legs.
Yeah. That would work.
Potentially.
Yeah, we could do all kinds of fun stuff.
I'm not gonna use a small cup for this.
No, it's 16 is gonna be. It's gonna overfill it. Oh no.
Or 10.
10. I'm sorry. You could actually. Whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I'll cast away from the computer. Let's not fill that with resin. Unless you want me to.
No. We just bought too much new tech.
That's
all right. Here we go. And all this is gonna stay super ugly until like basically the last couple steps. So I'm cleaning this up a little bit because I'm kind of self-conscious, but I also want to be able to see it. But all this gets cleaned up. My sculptures a lot of times look really kind of like rough and ugly until like the last day or so.
The beauty stage.
And I clean everything up. So a lot of times, and that's I like leaving stuff rough because I think it looks a lot of times it looks a lot more lively. If you over refine, at least in my opinion, if you over refine something so much, it just gets, you can kill the life in a piece pretty easily.
Yeah, plus if you accidentally bump it and mash a spot that was completed.
That's the other reason not to work on details, because a lot of times I learned that the hard way. Because everybody, when you get started with stuff, you always want to do the detail step because it's where all the neat stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the exact wrong thing to do. Because then, if you screw something up, you want to make a big change, like I did. I mean, all this got added, all this gray over the brownish red, all got added today. Just kind of because I felt like I wanted to see what it would look like, And if I detailed all that out like crazy and spent like 5 hours detailing that, it's a lot of times you're like, I'm not gonna go cover that, because it's just like I spent so much time. So it makes you timid,
Yeah, and like not wanna. If there's a change you want to try but aren't sure, then you can't try it
because you've got so much time invested. That's another reason I don't like sculpting in, those Avis or Magic sculptings, because it's just so labor intensive to get those steps done that it's like it's so much trouble. But like when I sculpted that garage bust, I mean I don't know, were you there for that when I cut the shoulders off on that life-size garage bust and repositioned them?
No, I wasn't.
Right? Yeah, it was. And most people will be like, no, it's too much, because I had to take a friggin' like regular saw to that thing and cut through a huge chunk to knock the shoulders down just a bit.
Ooh, like what? Knock them down an inch?
Yeah.
Oof.
Also, so it was a huge amount of work.
See you, Jake.
But anyway, so yeah, you need to not be too precious. Be willing to knock out detail and that kind of stuff. So it's like it's just better until you get the forms right, not to invest too much time.
Yeah, don't be Smeagol.
What do you mean by that?
My precious.
Oh no, there we go. I got it. That's all right.
It's okay. I forgive you.
It's the fumes from the epoxy.
I mean, it's an excuse, but whatever.
It's not a good one, but it's an excuse.
You tried.
Oh, now I gotta figure out. This is what I'm talking about with like problems. It's like I look at this. I'm happy with this now. Like he looks like he could be a tree. So that's a win. Like the top part, if you just saw, if you cover his face basically, and the legs and the giant horns, he would look like a stump. And that's what I wanted to do, with this section. It's gonna have some crazy gnarly, organic forms on this side, and then this whole section be like it's a tree, So I feel like we got that down. But the next issue is the next thing I need to tackle is what do I want these forms to look like. The face I kind of want to leave a little on the smooth side to emphasize the eyes.
Ooh, 10 is not quite enough.
Oh, well, use it as a dump tank.
Yeah.
The main thing, did you brushed it already though?
Yeah.
Okay, and you got to tip it and knock the chin out. Did you do that?
No.
Okay. Well, you're learning to patch, so.
Yeah, I got that one.
So anyway, this is like this problem. This is kind of the next thing I got to figure out. I'll have some texture to the face. I don't know what it is yet. It'll probably be some like wrinkly, kind of bark-like texture a bit. But all of this, I don't know if I want to have this be kind of smooth with a really light texture, or if I want to do something like, I'll show you. So this is a book, Micro Sculpture, by Levon Biss. And I saw this really neat, like, tree hopper aphid thing deal. What is this thing? Yeah, branch-backed tree hopper. So this is what that bug looks like. Is that showing up?
Yep, it's glaring. Tilt it forward a little. There.
Yeah, so this guy, he's got all this like crazy texture, and then they show a super close-up of like what his horn looks like and everything. So I was thinking this might be cool. I used this on that leg. If any of you saw the thing I posted earlier today, the prosthetic leg for the prosthetic, or the prosthetic appliance for the prosthetic leg. I was kind of practicing on that piece to see if I like that form. It worked really well on that one. But I don't want this piece to get too busy. And I'm kind of thinking if I do that, it's going to look really, really busy. So I don't know if I want to do that.
What ratio of breaks in the piece to how busy it is do you do? Or try to...
It's a feel thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's like a...
You have to do 30, 50,
Yeah,
37.
like, yeah, I was going to say. That's a really good question that I have no idea. I just have no idea how to answer that right. And I think everybody's got a different idea. Some people, like if you look at a lot of, like I've got a convention artist friend, Pui Illustrated.
Oh my god.
His stuff is super, super, super busy. I mean, there's just a bazillion things going on in his work, but it never feels like it's too much.
It's almost like when you're 5 feet away from it, it's just a beautiful painting, but then you get close and you realize everything's...
There's like 4 million things going on. It's like that's an example of like he's doing that like from a distance. He's doing like the areas of rest and everything and the forms are there. But it's like I don't have that ability personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to play it a little safer than he does. His work is just, if you guys get a chance, it's Pui Illustrated. He's on Instagram, and I think he's got a website and stuff too. But his work is insane, just so good.
I think I did a bad mix.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Wrong ratio, not enough stirring, something. Anyway, chemicals.
Okay.
It's fun,
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. Anyways, yeah, we definitely need another one of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I don't know what I'm doing on this, and a lot of times I have to do 2 or 3 things. Sometimes, which is really annoying because it eats up a lot of time and effort. But there's no deadline on this piece or anything, so I can kind of do what I want and play a bit.
Hell yeah.
I will be doing a video on my favorite clays and favorite tools pretty soon as well, which I'll probably have Sam shoot for me, as well as like a tour of the house and stuff. Because the I don't know if I told you, the Big Dragon had the last payment made on it.
Oh.
So it's going away. So I want to get video of that and there's a couple people interested in the big Fortitude as well. So it's like I want to record everything before all my big stuff disappears.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Also, look around everywhere. Like, just keep your eyes open when you're on hikes and stuff. Like, I found this really cool. I don't even know what type of nut this is, but it's got like the most awesome texture ever. And I'm going to use it as a texture stamp. So.
Which one?
It's I know what this is, but I can't remember. Like I've seen these a lot, but they have this like crazy crazy ridge type thing going on. So I'm gonna use that. See what it looks like.
Walnut?
No, no, it's shedding, of course. I might actually have to take a mold of this and then use it. It's got a neat texture to it, but it's actually shedding. It's shedding wood into the. All right, so scrap that idea for right now, and what I do a lot of times is take molds of pieces, but it started to disintegrate a bit. I'll do a silicone mold of this and use it as a stamp. So like I've got different tree barks, so I just brush this on a tree, and this is like a silicone. It's a 2-part silicone putty. So I take, and I don't know if you can kind of see that, but it gives you a really neat bark texture. This doesn't work with all clays, but it's a really nice way to get texture fast. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll use this kind of as a generic texture and just see what it looks like. That's coming out pretty good. The clay's got to be at the right the right wetness or the right density to take the stamp, but like I said, it gives me a neat kind of fast texture to play around with. Actually, I might do.
Save a lot of work.
Yeah, it really does. I might do.
Huh. Have you ever considered taking a mold of tin foil?
Yeah, people do that. People do that quite a bit, actually. I don't know where my stamp went. I had a whole bunch of, oh, they're there. I need to clean the studio.
Oh, is this one?
No, that's good. That's a rock that I molded the front half of. So these are texture stamps I made off of this really gnarly avocado. And I did a couple different sizes. Again, in that same putty. The putty you can get at like Michael's. It's just a silicone. And then it's got, I do this so I can just kind of take and press it in. So I'm gonna try this on there. I really like how this looks. It's got a really organic like grain to it and cell structure. So we're gonna try that.
I'm excited to
See how this goes. Because again, I don't want something that's too busy. And this gives a nice like.
A softer.
Yeah, it's a real. It's there, but it's not like overpowering. The one thing you gotta watch for is that you'll knock your forms down really bad if you're not careful doing these. Like you'll smush the forms.
Mm.
So we're gonna try this though. It gets tricky as you do this because you're starting knocking stuff off and making a mess.
How dare you make a mess?
And I'm just spraying this with water to kind of clean it up a bit.
Careful.
I guess that one's wanting to stay off. Yeah, this is going alright. I'm not quite happy with that. I am going to take these legs off for right now, though.
Ooh, at some point, I have to get video of the resin setting.
Yeah.
That's
There's something weirdly hypnotic about that.
I know. It's resin is just like a clear liquid for the most part, but when it sets, it's just like an explosion of just white.
Yeah, it's weird. We'll do that actually on one of the castings because a lot of people want to see the full. They want to see the full process, so we'll probably start doing. We'll start showing more steps, like that thing we're gonna be doing on Mondays with the beholder. I'll show the molds. I think I'm gonna show the molding process for all that too.
Okay.
So people will see the full range of craziness that goes into making one of these things. That was one thing that really opened my wife Laura's eyes up about all this because she does 2D stuff. She started helping out some and was like, there's just so much.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Just so many steps.
A lot more than you'd expect.
Yeah. And there's so many ways that stuff can go wrong. It's just, it's astounding.
Fortunately, I do know wrong.
Because you have learned by making 40 mistakes. Well, I think that's what I told you when you first started. I was like, by the way, don't do this. And I'm like, do you know how I know that? Because I did it that way 3 times and then figured out that was what was going wrong. Like, what was that last one we had with the weird, with that giant raven thing? Oh, it was we used the Urafil 9 instead of Urafil 11.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It was just like, just a train wreck.
Yeah, that was
not fun.
Spinning this giant, like, torso-sized mold. Well, not quite that big, but
it's big.
I don't know. You could fit like a toddler in it.
Yeah, it's a big mold. But we used the wrong filler because we ran out of. It's Urafil 11, which is this like powder that you can use into thicken resin to make it more controllable. And it's like, yeah, we'll just use Urafil 9. It's totally fine. I use it all the time for my silicone stuff. It works great. It's only for the silicone or the urethane rubbers though, so.
Yeah.
We just had to scrap that one, but now I have a good. I've got my own display. I've got my own display mask, so.
Oh yeah, does that one still?
Loss.
That
Yeah, I'm gonna have you practice the dremeling process on that.
Sweet.
So you can learn how to do that. That without messing up an actual. Actually, we need to do that. We need to cast up another one for the Ren Fair.
Ooh, oh boy, can't wait.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably just gonna do it.
I mean, I can help.
No, it's not the most fun piece to work on. So now we're getting kind of into the detail. I'm still these are still technically secondary forms. Because I'm working on the structure of all this. Getting into detailing a bit though with these little forms in here. Is my big head in the way or not too bad?
Nah, you're good.
Okay.
And I'm trying to demold this.
Yeah, you gotta split it out of there.
I was trying to like get the face so it stops.
No, just don't even worry about it. Just grab it from the tail.
Pull.
Yeah, pretty much. Just wiggle it out. Yeah, you'll start feeling it.
Yeah.
Unlock.
Ooh, still toasty.
Mm-hmm. That's the best time to demold those though.
Yeah.
So I'm just laying these little worms to play in. Putting them down.
From the
hoping my
zester.
texture stamp. What's that?
From the zester?
No, I'm just hand rolling them.
Oh, okay.
That's not a bad idea though. You can save those.
Here you go.
Nah, they're too dry at this point. That's the problem, is your skin pulls moisture out of the clay. So I got this jumbo-sized ball stylus tool I'm going to use to...
Got it.
Nice. So check under the chin. Check under the chin. Uh-huh.
There's a whole bubble.
Yep. So that's what I was talking about. You got to tip the mold.
Yeah, I don't think I tipped it enough.
No. But you'll learn for next time.
Bang.
And we can patch it. So that's one of the snailians. You saw its birth.
Here. That, I don't know if that is visible. There's pictures online.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the memes, you probably will.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my first piece that I've had pieces get like 20 and 30,000 likes before from other stuff, but when I did those dragons, but like that thing was just a level beyond. I mean, there were some of the things had like 20,000 shares.
Ooh, wow.
It was insane, and everybody had to have one, so I was happy. And you're happy because that gives you a job.
Yeah, I'm about that life.
I gotta get some water. Can you throw me a cup? Yep, right. Here, no, small. There you go. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to keep casting snowmen?
What's that?
Keep casting snowmen.
Yeah, do another one or two.
Okay.
So what I'm doing with this is just I'm kind of swishing the ball stylus into those worms that I did to create this kind of gnarly, kind of organic looking texture. Then I'll go in and refine it once it's all smooshed in place. So it creates these little pockets, which I think is kind of neat looking. So.
For, where is it?
It's this section right there.
Ooh.
So yeah. Like I said, I did that on the other one, and that's all inspired by that little aphid critter, or tree hopper.
Oh, yeah. Well, that did.
We get somebody beat.
Well, you got to follow, but that was 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Random noises.
Indeed. Either that or I'm missing something very obvious, which is very well possible.
Yeah, we'll get the hang of it.
Wow, that cleaned the table a good bit.
That's a nice sound effect.
All right. So how long did it take you to get like tree bark down?
How to do it?
Yeah, and like get it to look natural and stuff.
Well, using the stamps helps a lot, but it's not just smashing it down, because otherwise what'll happen is you'll have like a form. Like, you'll have a shape, and then if you just mash a stamp into it, it just like makes it flatter. It knocks all the ridges down and forms down, which can be, that can be a good thing if that's what you want, but the downside is if you don't want that, like, you gotta be really careful on how you apply it.
Mm-hmm.
But once I figured that, once I started using that texture stamp thing, and now I use the stamp to kind of like force like these weird, like more willow knot hole type things, or knotty type stuff. Those I just figured out today, so it's like,
oh
yeah. I just try a lot of different techniques and stuff. So I try not to get I never understand artists that are that do the same thing all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that.
It's like, it's, we've got friends that do that, and it's like, I get that it's a comfortable, it must be like a comfortable type thing, but for me, I don't want to get comfortable. I don't want it to be, I want to always be learning stuff, and because of that, I've used just a ton of different materials and stuff, because I just love learning about all the materials and what you can do with them. So.
Mm-hmm. Like pushing and challenging yourself.
Yeah, and that's me. I mean, that's not everybody wants to do that, but I would get bored if I was always making the same thing. And as a production artist, I kind of do that with, I've painted a few hundred Stalion at this point, just in the past, just the past year.
You don't want to just do exclusively Snalians?
No, they pay for all these other projects because like this piece will be available for this piece is going to be available to haunted houses and that kind of stuff. But it's like it's such a weird take on a spider monster that it's like I don't know how many people are going to get it. You know what I mean? They're going to really really like it because it's not from a movie. It's not, it's just this weird creature,
Mm.
And a lot of places want something that's reminds them of something. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times I get people are like, oh, that reminds me of Pan's Labyrinth or something like that. So it's like a comfortable. I don't necessarily like hearing that, but I get it now. It's like a comfortable, and our brains just work that way. Like that's how our minds work. Is like this is like that,
Right. So
you always compare things to other things that are similar. So, but with something like this, there's no real point of reference, and I'm not famous enough where it's like, oh, this looks like an Aaron Smith thing, So that's like, that's the goal is to eventually have your style be
your style named after you.
Yeah, like people talk about Del Toro's got a look to the creatures that he likes, with like Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy and all those.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can instantly, even though other people, he's got people working for him. It's like, oh, that's a Del Toro, type creature, or that's a Pan's Labyrinth, or
like he hires people who work with his style,
with his, the aesthetic that he wants, and he gives him a lot of freedom. Like he's one of the few Hollywood directors that's supposedly really good to work with for creature designers. Because a lot of them get really bored with, monsters done by committee. You know what I mean? It's like you've got this crazy idea for something original and new and interesting, and the people, the directors or the producers just kind of, they've got millions upon millions riding on a film. They don't want something that's, they want to make money is their goal.
Right.
So a lot of times safe is better than innovative, So that's one of the reasons people asked if I wanted to work in movies and stuff, and I really don't. Like, I want to do my own. I want to do my own weird stuff, and I'm happy doing it. So.
Mm-hmm. Just go with what feels good at the time.
Well, and if we get you making movies, then we'll just do stuff. Then we have total control on what we want. And like independent stuff, like that one Violent Star movie that I worked on was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy gave me just total freedom,
Still, someday when that comes out.
Yeah, I was hoping with all the quarantine stuff that they would get on that, because it's like
it's just
you got
post-production,
time now.
Right?
Yeah, it's in post at this point, so it's all the they shot, from what I understand, they shot all of the spaceship, or they shot all the actors, the live action stuff, and they went back and did all the spaceship stuff, like spaceship battles and stuff. That's what they're working on.
Oh.
And then they've got the whole post production for the whole thing, after that. So it's like it's a huge. Sounds like it's a much bigger project than I initially thought it was going to be. So.
Yeah.
But it was neat, like when that whole thing was going on, like we're watching Star Trek, and I'm like, oh, that's the actor, that's the villain in the movie that I worked on, It's just kind of crazy. It's Michael Berryman is the villain in that. He's been in like Hills Have Eyes and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and a bunch of older stuff. But he's like a staple in the sci-fi horror scene. Like, so you would actually recognize him if you saw him. He's a really distinctive looking dude.
Okay. Yeah, I need to learn actor names better.
But yeah, you've probably seen him and some stuff. All right, I'm kind of liking that. That's what we're gonna do. If I didn't like this, by the way, I would rip it out and just do something different, you know. So, which I'm gonna swoosh part of it right now because I think it'll look better if we do this. So I think I'm gonna use it. Use it right here.
It's got. Ooh.
What time we got?
Fun teeth on here. 5:52.
All right. Well, we're gonna be done at 6, I think so.
Then
You
you
call it. You call it then. Yes.
Yes,
Shadow man.
Try to put shadows so it's not glaring. Yeah. Okay.
That piece oddly will sell in the middle of the year sometimes. Like it sells really well around Halloween and then into Christmas, but because I mean it is a seasonal piece, but it's just odd that that will occasionally. It's like selling the Krampus pieces in the middle of yeah, right in the middle, which is a good movie.
I really need to rewatch that.
Oh, dude, it is.
I think I was drunk last time I watched it.
Yeah, that's when you need to kind of pay attention to because there's so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
That and it would freak me out too much if I was drunk and watching that, because it's super intense. But that's like that's a lot of that's like the darker side. It's weird because it's like it's the darker side of a lot of the Norse stuff that I'm into. But it's still like really powerful and shows like a lot of the healing aspects to some of that stuff. So it's pretty trippy though.
Yeah, I think that was the other part. I was with friends when I watched it, and I think we were talking over some of the important parts.
No, that's when you just gotta like absorb everything that's going on. Or you could be talking about that, you know, but it's not like that's not a good one to talk. Just talk through.
At least not in the first watch.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to watch this.
I'm down. Sweetheart. Really need to rewatch that.
Was that the? Oh yeah. No, I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. Laura was off at her parents' place, I think, and you had recommended that. So yeah, that one. Monster design was a little.
It was odd.
Yeah, it was just like what? It's kind of like a goat dude for an aquatic type thing. So I didn't quite think that worked, but it was a really like the creature was well done. Like it was a neat practical suit.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's
for people watching, Sweetheart's Netflix. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's an original, but it's a movie about a castaway, and there is a monster on the island. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But yeah, and they do a really good job with how they treat the monster is really like how they use the monster in the movie. I thought was just awesome. So
yeah, like
creature design, I wasn't a huge fan of, like I said, but it wasn't bad by any means. Like it was a good, it was executed well, but I just didn't like the design, the thought behind the design.
Mm-hmm. But like how they shot it and their use of sound.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. They did such a good job with that, man. And not showing the monster in the first 10 seconds of the movie, it drives me nuts.
I haven't seen season 3 of Stranger Things, but I'm still pissed they showed the whatever new thing in the trailer.
Well, they show the beginning phase of it, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they show the full. I'm trying to remember the trailer.
It's like the big, I don't know, it's a big thing in a hallway.
Have you seen The Mist?
Yes. TV show?
Yeah. Or the movie?
I haven't seen the movie.
Okay. Because the movie's Stephen King. And the,
Yeah.
and the TV show is just, I don't think that's a Stephen King.
It's the same story.
Oh, is
but,
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which this show was like, it's all right. It's one of those shows that I enjoyed. I enjoyed it enough to continue watching it and, like finish it and everything.
Yeah.
And I do kind of wish they did a little more.
Mm.
But it's not really something that I'd like go out of my way to buy
Yeah.
or watch.
That makes sense.
But it's worth a watch through.
Yeah, that was one that was on my list, but I'm still on my Viking fantasy kick, which is basically the Vikings TV show is basically it's a fantasy. It's not really great historically and that kind of stuff, but
Between that and
it's fun though. Like but I finished that. I'm on the Last Kingdom, which has got some of the worst cinematography in film history.
The Last Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Or yeah, it's the Last Kingdom. It's basically that same time period. So it's the Viking era.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit later than Vikings. Well, I guess Vikings has got a big time period, or a big stretch of stuff. But anyway, it's told more from the Saxon side than the Danes or the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
But the cinematography, man, is like the guy's just drunk and running around, and it's like I have no problem with that for battle scenes and stuff, and I think it's really good for that because it gives you like that feeling of like chaos and stuff's out of control or whatnot. But he'll do that when they're just like standing around talking in a library.
Oh.
Or a monastery or something, and it's just like that's yeah.
Come on, folks.
That's not great.
Unnecessary shaky camera.
Oh, dude, I got sick. Like I don't get motion sickness, but I got motion sickness from watching the first episode.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I almost gave up on it, and then I was like, nah, I'll give it another shot. I'm glad I did it. The story's good. The acting's not quite as strong as in Vikings, but it's still good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm only in the first season too, so it might get better.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I really want to start watching those shows. Like Black Sails. I'm at the point where I love the show, but
That's that pirate thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same, I guess, genre as you'd put Game of Thrones or Vikings or any of those really serious. They don't hold back, kind of medieval.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I loved Black Sails, but I stopped watching it and really need to get back into it.
Is that told from the pirate's perspective or from the? Shut up. Or from the good guys.
It's the pirates. It's
okay.
From what I can tell, it's what? Like it's got Long John Silver, Billy Bones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Captain Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that, but I think before, what is that? Treasure Island.
Mm-hmm.
That, but before they do Treasure Island.
Gotcha. All right, that's how far I got. So all this, a bit on the back, all that got added. I've taken the legs off and that kind of stuff. So you have to imagine those, and the horns too. We'll get those in. That's going to be a lot easier to do once I've got it cast. So.
Yeah.
So we'll probably hold them up to show people, but we're not gonna keep putting those back on because they are a pain in the butt to maneuver.
Yeah. Also, them falling could be bad.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'll spend a bit more time on the back to blend some of these shapes and whatnot in and that kind of stuff. Actually, I'm gonna texture this real quick.
True.
find a spot I don't think is textured right and smush. So yeah, there we go. Cool. Starting to look like a monster.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, we'll do one more. We'll do one more spin. This, the whole back, I've really not done much with. And that's the thing with sculptures, you really can't, you know, my wife made the joke when she was painting some sculpts for me. She's like, "There's another side," because she does she does 2D stuff, so it's like sculpture really is like you got to have the whole part of the beauty of it is you can see it from different angles and stuff will change, depending on what angle you're looking at it from and all that. So it's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work because you got to get, I got to solve all these problems for how these interface with the rest of it. Thankfully, it's an asymmetrical, really organic monster, so I don't have to be too fussy about that. But it's still it needs to look like it's believable though. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean the bark above the head, eyes looks.
That I'm happy with. Like this looks like he's looking like that tree stump type thing that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I love the knotty, like really like the nodules that those willow trees get. I don't know if you've seen that on their roots and stuff, especially.
Yeah.
But they get those really neat like tumor knots, that are just crazy. So that I really like this and how this came out. So he's looking a lot better. I'm a lot more happy with the overall shape. I think actually the overall shape is probably done now. I think this is what I'm going to stick with. And I really like he's pretty asymmetrical with the build, and then the horns will add a lot of symmetry to the overall flow. So the legs, face, and all that's going to be really symmetrical with those huge horns arching over, and then it's going to have the asymmetry. So I think it's going to be a really neat monster once it's done. So
yeah, it's
just got to keep plugging away. So yeah.
Indeed.
This might be my Wednesday or middle of the week random podcast or live stream or whatever these things are. We'll do that, and then Mondays are going to be Beholder. I'm working on. I'll show you that piece.
Oh yes, the lovely little friend.
So I'm working on the Beholder on Mondays at what do we say, 8 o'clock? I think it was 8 o'clock. From like 8 to 9 or 9:30, I'll be working on this guy until he's done, and I'll probably do every step so you get to see all the mold making all the way through to final paint. But yeah, fun piece. Anyway.
And then next time we stream, there should be another camera and
Yep.
better setup.
Yep, we'll have all that figured out. So
technical difficulties.
Anyway, we'll see you guys. On Monday. Sam will be back probably in 2 weeks or on another stream, but he'll be out this next Monday. But I'll probably have Justin or one of my other friends out to co-host. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll see ya.
Thank you.